Like to get started with this morning show, and I have been
You're looking forward to this, aren't you? This is your
am.
glorious moment. Ooh.
Listen to this.
Who's sorry now? Who's sorry now?
Connie Francis has been one of America's leading singers for over 25 years. Connie's records have sold over 80 million copies. Only Elvis and the Beatles have sold more. Who's Sorry Now was her first huge hit and is now the title of her autobiography. And it's a remarkable story of both the tragedies and the joys that have shaped Connie's life to date. And it is really a delight for me to be able to welcome Connie Francis to Good Day.
Hello.
Good morning to you.
Hi, Eileen. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. You and I did not, because of the rush of the morning, have a chance to really talk.
I know that.
Before the show.
You see some of those films you showed?
Yes.
Someday I hope that there's one giant inferno and all those films are destroyed.
No, you can't mean that.
Oh, yes.
Why?
This
What do you
morning-
feel when you see those?
This morning, sick. This morning I was speaking to my ex-husband, and he told me that there was a picture of me in the New York Daily News, and he said, "What a doggy picture." I said, "Go ahead." I said, "Talk all you want," but I was America's sweetheart. All the boys had a crush on me. He said that America was in very bad shape in the late 50s.
No, you know, I've got to tell you that it was the early 60s when I really discovered you, and I idolized you.
Oh,
you were a
thank
role
you.
model. I would shut my door, and sometimes instead of doing homework, I'd be singing to Connie Francis.
Oh, that's nice.
You know, if after reading the book, if I had known then what I read now about you as an adult, I might have even felt a closer connection with you, because you went through a lot of the basic struggles growing up that I guess most American kids go through, although complicated by this career.
Yeah, very, very complicated by it. Actually, I really don't think I ever had a childhood or a teenagehood or whatever, because I think that's a thing that happens to a lot of kids in business when they're in the business at a very early age. I think they the youth is sapped from them at a very early age.
You were 3 years old when you found a gleam in your father's eye,
Yeah.
because you sang.
That's right, and he took me for accordion lessons. Every Italian girl who had a father who was alive played the accordion, you know, and I think that my dad chose the accordion because it was the most asexual instrument ever known to man, you know.
He worried about that, didn't he?
Oh, he sure did. You know, anyone that came within a 700-mile radius of my body was like a threat to be avoided at all costs.
Do you think that would have been the same had you not been a star?
Oh, sure. Most Italian fathers of that generation were like that, you know. You left home either in a wedding gown or a casket. That was it. There was nothing in between.
I also love you saying you had a flood in your house in '67 and the accordion was finally gone.
The accordion died in the flood, and I threw a real big party, Eileen.
I found the book really bittersweet. The beginning, Dick Clark on American Bandstand playing this song, Who's Sorry Now, and it just skyrocketing up the charts. What were those moments like for you?
Well, it was January 1st, 1958, and a holiday, and like 8.5 million American teenagers, I went to my TV set, my black and white 16-inch Motorola, and turned on my idol, you know, Dick Clark and American Bandstand. And that was like a way of life for us, as you know, Eileen. I don't think there was a lonely girl in all of America because of that show. It united us, you know. And all of a sudden, Dick Clark, my record had been out for 3 months. It did nothing. It was going nowhere, just as my other 9 duds did, you know. And all of a sudden, Dick Clark said, and now we have a girl singer, and I believe she's going to go all the way to the top. And I was feeling sorry for myself as usual. And I said, good luck to her. And then he just happened to play Who's Sorry Now. And it was like the turn of the century in my house. It was just incredible.
But once the initial shock and the joy was over, I mean, it was a lot of work for you. It was a constant
It was
trek.
It was work, but it was fun, because my work has always been my play. And I think that the luckiest people in the world are those people who find the work that's play and then play very hard. You know, I think that that's a great way to go through life, is to make a living, and a good one, at what you love doing best.
I want you to know my father would not let me see where the boys are.
Why?
Well, I guess because he was worried about it.
Because of the scene in the motel in the last room. I mean, that's the only thing
he saw it, but he wouldn't let me see it.
Well, let me tell you about my father. He didn't want me to do the movie because of the scene in the last scene in the movie where the girl is in a motel room and nothing happens in the movie at all, you know. And I remember seeing the dailies one day. That's the films you see every day, you know, after you shoot them. And he walked into the studio, And he said from the back of the room, I had, in this scene, I had on a pair of pajamas up to my ears, you know. And he walked in and he said to Joe Pasternak, the producer, "What are you trying to do, make a prostitute out of my daughter?" Oh, talk about embarrassment. And nobody could believe that the man was actually made in America.
The best part of those days for you?
I mean, everything happened in a year's period of time. I was on my way to earning my first $1 million, toured England and Newfoundland and Hawaii. The fan mail was coming in at the rate of 5,000 letters a week. It was a tremendous period of time, very heady.
You found, though, I suppose, lately, at least it seemed in this bittersweet encounter of your life, you found a depth, really through some tragedy.
Oh, I think that every time we go through hard times, we emerge on the other side a little bit stronger and a little bit clearer. And I think that happens to all of us. I mean, what choice is there, right?
Well, you know, you say what choice is there, but you were victimized badly in 1974. You were raped at a Howard Johnson's motel.
Yeah.
And then you secluded yourself really from it, didn't you?
It was a very difficult thing, Eileen, because it was so public. People say to me, "You were so brave in talking about this publicly." Well, for 7 years I didn't talk about it, and I really had no choice, because by the time I arrived at the hospital, it was all over the radio, and you know, there was no way that I could suppress that kind of news. So it was something that was, you know, the kind of crime that women keep quiet about, and this was in all of the international papers, and it was a difficult period of time for me, especially in light of my background and image, you know.
Yes, this incredible moral structure that you were supposed to follow, and it's such a violation. How do you work through it? Do you ever really get over that?
Yeah, you do. Today, I rarely think about it unless someone brings it up. Now, with this tour, with the book, you know, traveling everywhere, everyone asks about it. And it's something that I like to talk about and then get off the subject, because I really don't want to be thought of as a professional victim. And for a year and a half, that's all I talked about.
Well, in a way, it's really refreshing to hear you say, yes, you can get over it.
You
and
do.
It's hope for anyone.
Oh, yeah, you do. You know, any woman who has experienced that crime should, without fail, go to a rape crisis center and meet with other women who've experienced the same kind of thing. And also for the families and husband of a victim to do the same thing, to seek counseling about how to handle the problems that will occur.
Who's sorry now, Connie?
Oh, not I.
No.
No.
All in all, I mean, has it been everything that you wanted to be up to date?
If someone asked me if I would do everything all over again in order to have enjoyed the career I have, I would say that, with the exception of my brother's death,
I know.
yeah, I would do it all over again. It's the same life that exposed me to those kinds of pitfalls. It's also the life that exposed me to the kinds of heights that very, very few people have ever experienced, and I think I'm very lucky.